Greetings everyone. In this simple demo, I'm going to show how to use INetSim to provide spoof DNS responses to malware that's expecting to be able to contact certain domains, such as, for example, its command and control servers. As what often happens with malware, it will not do its malicious actions unless certain conditions in the environment are met. Sometimes those conditions are the ability to be able to contact certain domains, such as, for example, its command and control servers. Now obviously, when doing malware analysis, you don't want malware to be able to talk to its command and control servers, but you still want it to do its malicious actions. Luckily, we can use INetSim to spoof DNS responses and thus trick malware into thinking it can connect to its C2 servers, but really it's just talking to us. So I have this piece of fake malware here that meets these conditions. So if I fire at Wireshark here, and I start my capture, okay, and then I run my malware, see that it very quickly stops, and if I go to my capture, you'll see that it runs this DNS query for cryptomancer.net. Let's stop this here, and the destination is unreachable. It cannot find a response, and thus it doesn't do anything else, immediately terminates. So the malware is not doing its malicious actions, and we want it to do so. So in order to get it to do so, we're going to use INetSim. Now in order to get this demo to work, we need to have two VMs, our Windows VM that we're running the malware on, and our Kali VM, which is running INetSim. And we need to do some configuration. First of all, both VMs need to be running in host-only mode so that they're on the same subnet. Now we need to configure our Windows VM to be able to talk to our Kali VM, to have it use it as its default gateway and DNS server. So I'm going to run ipconfig here to get my IP information, and then I'm going to modify my network information here to set it up manually. So I'm going to set it with the same IP it had before, which is 192.168.146.128, so the mask is default, and then I'm going to give it the IP address of my Kali VM, which is 192.168.146.129, and I'm going to do the same thing for my DNS server. And I fire an ipconfig. There we go. And if I run ipconfig again, now it has this information set. Now I need to do some configuration on the Kali side to configure INetSim. Okay, so let me make this a bit bigger. Okay, so in order to configure INetSim, I need to modify its config file, which is at etc inetsim.conf. Now I need to make two modifications here in order to get this to work. The first thing I need to change is what's called the service bind address, which is the IP address that it will bind all of its fake services to. So I need to uncomment this and then change the IP to that of my Kali VM, which is 192.168.146.129. The second thing I need to change is the DNS default IP. I need to do the exact same thing here, uncomment the line, and once again change the IP address to that of my Kali VM. I then save this. The DNS default IP is the IP that it will respond with to all DNS queries. So in this case, I want all DNS queries to point to my Kali VM. Okay, so I've made my configuration changes. I save my config file, and now I can run INetSim. And what will happen here is in a minute it will say simulation running, so now you know it's working. And I can scroll back up here just to see if there are any errors. Doesn't look like there are any errors. I see that DNS successfully ran, as well as all the other services, which I'm not using for now. So INetSim is now properly configured. I'll go back to my Windows VM. I will start up another Wireshark capture, and then I will run my malware. And you'll notice that even though it terminated immediately, let me stop this, it has the same query for cryptomancer.net, but now it got a response. And the IP address that I got a response with is the IP of my Kali VM, and that seemed to make my malware happy because it established a connection to that IP address, and it's sending its data, which we can now analyze, which is outside the scope of this video, but you get the idea. And here it gracefully terminated the connection. So it seems like we managed to get the malware to do what we wanted it to do. It sent its command and control data to its fake C2 server, thus doing its malicious actions without actually talking to its legitimate C2 server. So there you go. That is how to use INetSim to provide spoofed DNS responses to get malware to do its malicious actions without talking to its actual C2. Thanks for watching.